Hey! It is Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So it is Real Money Coach show time. I know some of y'all who know me well, wondering like, is he gonna be on this show tonight? Because you might have heard I hit a little battle with this thing they call COVID last Tuesday night, y'all. But I am back. I am feeling well. Thank you for all of your prayers. Thank you for all of your text messages, kind words, all that good stuff. So let me know where you're watching from tonight. Let me know where you're watching from, what part of the country you're watching from, what city, what state you're watching from. Tell me something good tonight. We are super excited about the show. We have a young entrepreneur that will be on with us tonight. And of course, Tony TJ the second, he's going to be in the house with us again tonight. And we're just going to have some fun talking to the young fellas about entrepreneurship of all things. And, I think it's never too young to be an entrepreneur, never too old to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to tell you, like my mentor says, no matter what you have, be an entrepreneur, right? I think George had some kind of joke about cow manure and entrepreneurship or whatever, put it in a bag, put your name on it and become an entrepreneur, whatever. But listen, we know that entrepreneurship is important to our country. We know that it's important to what we do and we believe in. And here's the thing that I coined the other night on the call with Dr. Frazier. We don't want to talk about streams of income, but we want to talk about rivers of income. We don't want a little stream trickling in. We want a river of income. And I was thinking about it, y'all. I was thinking about it when I said that, and it kind of resonated with people. And what I thought about, and I went biblical, right? Because when God created man, He created them. Adam and Eve. Called their name Adam, right? Mankind, placed them in the garden. And in the garden, there were streams that were running from each direction, right? So there were rivers that were feeding them. They were really at the plenitude of prosperity right there in the garden. But the garden was being fed by these rivers. And so, you got to think about it, just having one stream of income can be dangerous, especially in today's environment. I see A.G. Jones is in the house. I'm assuming that A.G. Jones is related to our guest tonight. So thank you for being here. And if I am correct, that A.G. Jones may be the parent of Mr. Martin Jones, who's going to be on here tonight, I'm just going to give you a big shout out for treating my son so well in your home. Thank you for extending all that hospitality and grace to him. So if I am correct that that's who you are, thank you so much. Hey, I see Dr. Benita Harris is in the house tonight from Charlotte, North Carolina. Glad to have you here tonight. And and good, we got the confirmation there. So listen, make sure you let us know where you're watching from. We're going to be talking entrepreneurship. We're going to be talking about that. What does that look like? What does that look like for the next generation, right? Alice Martin, thank you for being here. Thank you for wishing me well. And yes, I am feeling better. Let me just say this about this COVID thing. And I know people are on different sides of the conversation about that, but I'm going to tell you two things. I sent an email out to my team on Monday, yesterday, that we weren't having a meeting. It wasn't because I wasn't feeling well. The reason why I sent it out is because we didn't have the meeting was because of the holiday, because of Juneteenth. But there's two things I said that I was very thankful. Number one, to God, right? Because no short of a miracle, a week later, I feel 100%. And then number two, my second thing was I was thankful for science and medicine that God uses, right? And so I attribute it all back to God. But I'm one that believes in medicine, doing what the doctor says, and all these types of things. And so I don't discount medicine and say, well, God will save me. Yeah, God will save me, but God will also save me by utilizing a doctor, a hospital, a nurse, a wife, a mother, or somebody to come take care of a brother. So I just wanted to say that. Let me just finish. Austin Jones, thank you for being here from Tampa, Florida. Kimberly McGuinn, thank you for also being here from Charlotte, North Carolina. And Ruth Bell. Ruth Bell is in the house. Ruth, thank you for that beautiful text that you sent me on Father's Day. I do appreciate it. Listen, the Real Money Coach family, y'all some serious, man. Y'all serious followers, and I appreciate it. Hey, listen, I will be next week. I will be doing this show from Mississippi. I'm actually going to be doing a 1-day seminar in Mississippi, and then I will spend 4 days doing some training, a financial literacy camp for kids. So I'll spend 2 days in West Point, Mississippi, 2 days in Macon, Mississippi. So I'm looking forward to that. If you know anyone in Jackson, Mississippi, next Sunday afternoon, we will have an iPad workshop, book signing that will take place in Jackson, Mississippi at the Westin Hotel right there, downtown Jackson. Masks are required. Yeah, masks are required. Let me just say that. Um, so masks are required. So we're just man, the Jones family is coming in strong tonight. I see so many Joneses popping in. I love it. He must have shared it on Facebook. These young people know how to get the social media word out, right? So we're real excited about that. So let me not waste any more time yapping and talking around. Let's bring on TJ. Let me bring on my son. TJ,
What's
how you
going
feeling?
on?
How you feeling, son?
I'm good. I'm feeling good.
You feeling
COVID tried to
good?
take me out, but we here.
Hey,
Still
well,
standing.
yeah, we still standing. You can't keep a good man down, right? So, and so, by the way, it was just Father's Day, so we celebrated Father's Day in a different kind of way yesterday, right, on Zoom, because
Virtually.
we're all
Yeah,
still
yeah.
in quarantine. Um, so, TJ, what's going on, man? Anything? What word you got for the folks tonight?
Man, all I have to say is put the seatbelt on. Put the seatbelt on because it's going down. This is gonna be a legendary conversation tonight. Um, yeah, put the seatbelt on. We're gonna keep it real. Straight no chaser. Uh, no fillers, additives. We just giving you straight potency tonight. And really just speaking to the mindset of an entrepreneur. And that's why, Martin and I, we kind of discussed some things and we came up with the idea of redefining entrepreneurship. And the reason why I think that's important is because there are a lot of people that think they're entrepreneurs and they're not. And then there are a lot of people that are entrepreneurs and they don't think they are.
That's very
Um,
true. That's very true.
so
Sounds like y'all got a plan for tonight, man. Sounds like y'all got a plan for tonight, so that the
yeah,
old man can sit back and let y'all chauffeur this show tonight. I can take a back seat on this one
yeah,
and
yeah.
be a backseat driver and say something every once in a while. Slow down. Make that turn again. Repeat that one more time. So I'm real excited about it because I know that Tony, ever since he said that Martin was going to be on the show, um, I was like, he was so excited about it, that it made me excited. I was like, well, I can't wait. I can't wait to hear what Martin's got to say. So
Well,
I'm looking
me and
forward
Martin
to it.
been doing this. We've been doing this for so long. I mean, we literally have 3-hour conversations by accident. And when we were at A&T together, like we would bring groups together in the cafeteria. and literally, we'd be in the cafeteria surrounded by like 10 mentees just listening, and people like pulling out their phones and recording voice memos. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah. But what the spirit does is powerful.
Man,
When we
you
connect.
ain't never lied there. So, well, listen, man, I'm not gonna hold the show up, man. I'm not gonna be the bottleneck tonight. I'm gonna let's go ahead, introduce Martin. Let's bring Martin Jones the second on, and let's start this conversation up tonight.
Okay, absolutely. Family, help me in welcoming my brother from another mother, Martin Jones. I could get into all the powerful things that he's done and is doing and will do, but I'll keep it simple. I'll keep it simple. Just say that he is an entrepreneur, and he is an unconventional entrepreneur in some ways. And I think that he will challenge our perception of what it means to be an entrepreneur and what a pathway to entrepreneurship looks like in this current time. So, no further ado, welcome my brother, Martin Jones the second.
All right, there he is, Martin Jones. Hey, Martin, how you doing, man? I think you're muted. I think you're muted.
Yeah.
You gotta
What's going
unmute
on,
yourself.
family?
All
Yeah,
right,
Yeah,
yeah, I
there
there
got
we
we
you.
go. There
go.
we go.
There we go. So Martin, man, TJ and gave you the billing, bro. So y'all gonna have to bring it
All right, cool,
tonight.
cool, cool.
Y'all gonna have to bring it. I might the way he talking, I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch this myself, right? So I'm gonna have to rewatch it. So by the way, y'all, if y'all want to rewatch it, all you got to do is go to YouTube, The Real Money Coach. Also, letting everybody know that you can subscribe to our Facebook community, the Real Money Coach community, and we're about bringing financial education and literacy in the world, right? And let me just say, we really talk about four main pillars. And the first pillar is proper management of your current assets and investments. That's number one. Proper management. That's where we get in and we talk about things like budgeting, financial psychology, credit, debt elimination. That's kind of foundational. And then the second pillar is proper insurance and investments, making sure that we are properly insured, make sure we have the right investments in place for our retirement. And then the third pillar is real estate, right? Real estate, they ain't making no more of it except in Dubai, bringing in some sand. But other than that, they're not doing any more. They're not making any more real estate. So owning real estate, whether personal, commercial, or both. And then, of course, tonight's topic is our fourth pillar, which is entrepreneurship, business ownership. Because here's the thing, I can have a wonderful job and I can make a lot of money, 6 figures, 7 figures. But guess what? I cannot leave that job to my family. When I leave that job, they're going to make a post. They're going to post it on Indeed. They're going to post it on whatever job posting they want, and they're going to fill that position, right? But as a business, that is something that I can pass down to the next generation, even if they don't want to be integrally involved in the operation of that business. They can still own it. And one of the things that we have to start doing as a people is planning for that intergenerational business transfer. Because so often what happens is that we're on the grind doing our business, and then our kids have to work in that business, right? And they're like, I'm tired of this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to stuff no more envelopes. I don't want nothing to do with this business. And then it doesn't get to the next
Yeah.
generation. And so by the third generation, the business is gone. So what we need to do is we need to start thinking about how to take our businesses to the next generation, and it starts with a mindset. So I throw that out there. You guys pick that up and run with it.
Definitely. So, run back the
Uh-oh.
first
You
pillar
ready?
for me. Yeah, let's do it.
You ready?
Let's
You
do it.
ready?
Run back the first pillar for me. One time.
The
That
first pillar,
yeah.
proper management of your current assets. And the
Woo.
four main things there is you got to think about, I mean, what is an asset? You know, number one is people don't want to hear the word budgeting, but you know, it's budgeting, having a spending plan. I even said in my book, if you don't tell your money where to go, you'll soon be asking it where it went. Where'd you go? Right. Number two is your credit profile. You know, having credit, both business credit, personal credit, is very important. I think that's one of those foundational pieces. Um, Third is debt. You know, unfortunately, we have a tremendous amount of debt, and our government doesn't set a good example there. I mean, you're talking about we have over $28 trillion of debt as a country. And if you look at the US debt calculator, it tells you that they have assigned, if you look it up, Google it, US debt calculator, that there's over $240,000 of debt assigned to each taxpayer. So you're a citizen of this United States, you have a social security number, and as a result of that, they're saying your portion of the debt is about 240,000. So I think that's an important piece is manage our money, manage our credit, manage our debt load, right? Those I think are really important parts of that overall picture of that first pillar.
Absolutely. And then in
And look,
that first part,
note takers are money makers. So make sure I take notes.
Hey, I got my phone right here. You know what I'm saying? I'm taking notes for sure. I'm taking notes for sure. Yes, sir. So I guess we'll be included kind of like in that first part of the first pillar is also management of assets.
Oh, absolutely. So management of your current assets, that's important. And we talk a lot of different things about that. How do you pass those assets on? How do you do it in a way that is most advantageous to your beneficiaries, your heirs, rather than it being beneficiary to the IRS. So yeah, absolutely. Management of the assets.
Hey, Martin. Would you say that time is an asset?
Y'all hear me? We good?
Yeah, we good. We good. Would you say that time is an asset, Martin?
Oh, come on now, break it down for him. Break it down.
Would you say time is an asset? Because I mean, we're talking about entrepreneurship, right? We're talking about entrepreneurship. We're talking about getting to the next level, and the first step financially in creating wealth is proper management of your current wealth and your assets, right? And a part of that, a huge part of that is managing your assets, right? And we have 24 hours each day.
Yep.
365.
Yep.
And somehow within that time, we can't figure out how to properly invest the asset of time. And I think this is important as it relates to entrepreneurship, because you have people that are sole proprietors who have no time. You have dreamers who have time and haven't put the effort or invested into what it is that they dream about. And so how we manage the asset of time is something that's very important in our journey toward entrepreneurship and ultimately our journey toward financial freedom. And I think that, like, Martin and I, we both had like interesting journeys in entrepreneurship.
For sure.
Yeah. So I'll share mine first, and then I'll let you share yours.
Let me ask you guys a question. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Do you believe in time management?
Definitely.
You can't manage.
He said
time.
no. He said no. Right.
You-
Okay. And here's my theory. Tony, you've heard me say this before. You
Yeah, that's
can't
how I knew the answer.
manage time, right? I can't manage time. I can't add days, seconds to the week or the day. So what time management really is event management. So what you can do is you can manage the events and your activities within that time, but you can't actually manage the time.
I like that. I like that.
Definitely.
Yeah, I like that.
Definitely. Yeah. I heard that one already.
I'm
Bro.
about
That's how I
to
knew
say,
the answer. That's how I knew the answer. You know, because I would have said yeah.
I ain't get that memo. I ain't get that memo. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta manage that. You have to manage the events, right?
Yeah.
And I mean that's important because you know, like for somebody
But
like me,
I like where y'all going because time is an asset,
Yeah.
right? And if you don't think it is, run out of it. Right?
Yeah.
It is definitely an asset. I love where you guys are going. Go ahead.
and the thing is, especially for people in our generation and up and coming generations in this social media age, we waste so much time on social media, and we say we want businesses. We say we want to have money. We want to buy real estate, but we spend all of our time scrolling up and down Instagram and TikTok and Facebook and Snapchat and Twitter. I mean, that's more social media platforms than I probably have hands.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like there's so many different, you know, platforms, and we waste time. We literally waste the asset of time that we, you know, the thing about time is you never know how much of it you have. You never know how much of it you have. And the problem with that creates a problem in waiting, right? Like waiting to get started. Or I'm going to wait until I do this. I'm going to wait and until this happens. I'm going to wait until my savings account touches this amount. I'm going to wait until I get married. I'm going to wait until this. And you're literally wasting the time that God has given you, and you don't know when you'll hit your expiration date. And that's the reason why, like tonight, right now, my challenge is start now. When I mean, I know it's 8 o'clock right now, about 8:30. We get off this call 9 o'clock. Start right now. Do something right now that's going to further you towards your goals. And we'll talk about this because Martin and I we chopped it a little bit about things that you can do right now that don't cost $10,000. Don't require you to quit your job. Don't require you to live on the street. And that's what this perception of what like entrepreneurship has become, because we saw a lot of those grassroots entrepreneurial journeys, and people, you know, they quit their job with no savings and use their 401k to start a business. We saw these things, right? It's not realistic for most people, right? But the good thing is there are things that we can do right now to start our journey in entrepreneurship. And even if you don't feel like you're an entrepreneur, you can let your money work for you.
Yeah.
Right? You can be an investor and you can be an entrepreneur with hands-off approach. I'm like that with lots of them, hands-off approach. Right? So we're gonna talk about this. And I mean, if you like money, I mean, even just a little bit, even if you just kind of like money, you know, put some dollar signs in the chat. Just put some dollar signs. Put a couple dollar signs. If you don't like money, don't put nothing. Yeah, you might just love Jesus. I like money and Jesus.
There you go. There you go.
Jesus gave me money. You know what I'm saying? Y'all never got too Christian for me, but I like money. You know what I'm saying? Martin, talk to me. Talk to me about something.
Amen. He like money. I can tell y'all that already. He like money. I can show you a bank account to prove it. Right.
Hey, well, look. Before we even get into that, I think we gotta figure out which race are we running. You know, because we start running races in this world and don't even know where we're running to. So we all have different lanes in life, right? But a lot of times people will look at Tony. I can look at your lane, right, and I can say, "Oh, I like what he's doing, so I'm gonna run his race." But the whole time you going to a whole different destination, right? So it's my duty as a man, or if you have any queens out there as a female, it's your duty and obligation to first, before you even say I want to make money, let's figure out what race we're running. Let's figure out what the destination point is. My mantra and what we use in my life, and me and Kennedy's life. Shout out to my wife, Kennedy Jones. She's in class right now. She can't watch this, but shout her out. But our motto in our household is clock and marathon. Clock and marathon. We say clock and marathon because every single day we wake up, that clock is dwindling down. We say marathon because in life, it's not about sprinting. It's about, can you endure and outlast your yesterday? Like, can you endure and outlast your yesterday? Can you be better than yesterday? And just know every single day you wake up, that clock is dwindling down. So when you wake up, what's today, Tuesday, Wednesday? When you wake up on Wednesday, you have one less day on the earth. So before you get to, I know this is the money coach, this is the money show, but before we get to that, you have to realize, what are you waking up for? Like, what is your name? Like, what is your calling? What lane are you running to? What destination are you, where are you going? And I think once you recognize that, the money will just start just coming in. Because at that point, every conversation you have, every room you walk into, everywhere you go, you know what you're there for. So when me and Tony, we talk almost every day. When we talk, it's not just we wasting 2-3 hours. That 2-3 hours is life changing. Like before this show, we just made an investment. We just ran a play, that we call it.
Definitely. Run a play.
We just ran a play. We put our money to work. But because of that, we knew where we're trying to go. We have families that we're responsible for now, as young men in this world. So when we hop on the phone, it's not just wasting an hour, 2 hours of our time. When we talk, it's about, okay, what you got going on? Oh man, I just learned about this skill. Like I learned from my brother Kyle. He's probably watching this as well, from an investment opportunity. Yeah, KL, shout out to him. But he called me about investment opportunity. I said, I did my analysis, my research. I said, okay, yeah. I called Tony because I know where he's going in life. I called him. I said, hey, bro, this is something you got to look into. So before we talk about like the money aspect, you got to understand where the destination is. We're building a legacy, 3 generations of wealth. You know, so before we get into all this, you got to recognize the race that you're actually running. And I honestly, real quick before we dive in deep, I want to read this quote by Dr. Dennis Kimbrough. I'm a huge fan of his books and his theologies. You guys probably heard
before.
this.
He's been on here before.
Oh, see, look. He probably said this, but I'm reading what wealth is not. Wealth is not a function of circumstance. Wealth is not a function of condition. Wealth is not a function of who your mom or dad is. Wealth is not a function of where you were born. Wealth is not a function of your education. Wealth is not a function of your contacts. But it is a function of choice, faith, and foregoing today for tomorrow. So foregoing today for tomorrow.
Oh, I'm about to throw my computer.
that right there is what I remind myself every single day, to remind me of, you have to forego today for tomorrow. That clock marathon, that clock is dwindling down every day you wake up.
Right.
So you have to remind yourself, hey, look, I might have to, sacrifice this for the day, but on the back end, the rest of my life, I can reward myself with this. So So I had to start that off with that, and then let's go ahead
Yeah,
and get
I
into
mean,
it.
it's crazy because I mean, people nowadays are so intoxicated with today.
Mm.
They're so blinded by
Mm.
today that they cannot see tomorrow.
Mm.
Right? And I think that what you described is a balance. One, the like what you described, the clock, it speaks to the immediacy, right? It speaks
Mm.
to that you don't know what's next. It speaks to you have to live now,
Mm.
right? But the marathon speaks to like let's continue to plan for more. Let's look
Yeah.
bigger. Let's
Yeah.
not look just at right now. Let's understand that there's a sense of urgency, but let's not think. Let's be optimistic in believing that there's something greater to have than what is right now and what's in front of our face right now. And
Mm.
I think that's the problem with a lot of people is that they're so intoxicated with today that they can't even see tomorrow.
Mm.
And because they can't see tomorrow, it affects the decision they make from the friends that they talk to,
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
from the places that they go, um, to the people they lay in bed with.
Mm-hmm.
It affects all of those decisions because they are so intoxicated with today that they forget or don't realize the opportunity of tomorrow.
Mm.
Well, I think what you're saying too is that so often we get and some of it too, fellas, has been because many of our people have been put in a position of survival, right?
Oh yeah.
And we're just trying to survive. We're trying to pay the bills today. We're trying to put food on the table today. So some of it has some residual impact of that. But basically what we're saying is that so often we fail to plan. We're planning for today. I mean, it's in the moment, right? And I think there's times and there's parts of our life that we have to live in the moment, right? When it comes to our family, our loved ones, our children, we have to be in the moment. We have to be in the moment. We have to enjoy them in the moment. But at the same time, I have a responsibility to plan for years down the road that I can't see.
Yeah.
I got to write the vision. I got to put some things, and I got to be thinking about not the next move. Life is not checkers; it's chess, right?
Yeah.
So I got to be thinking about the impact of this decision today, this any decision I make today in this moment, what impact is it going to have, 5, 10, 20 years from now?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Definitely,
believe
and
me, it will have an impact.
Yeah.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely, and to be fair, let me speak for the African American community. We have a right to think only today,
Yeah.
right? I mean, they're literally locking us away and killing us. Like I'm fortunate to see 25. I mean, one of my mentees that literally was finishing up studying carpentry,
Mm.
and he was supposed to finish next year, got shot multiple times while he was changing a car tire.
Mm.
Not even his car. He helping somebody change a car tire. He got shot multiple times and died. Right. And so when we go through situations like that, like I would literally go from meeting with people on the executive floor of the Procter and Gamble international headquarters and get in the car and my cousin is calling me collect from prison. So I think absolutely feel like yeah we have the right to be um so immediate. We have the right to enjoy instant gratification, especially for some of us who haven't had anything. When we start having a little money coming in, we like to buy things. I can't tell you that you're wrong for wanting to buy fresh pair of sneakers when you were stuffing cardboard in your sneakers when you were growing up. I can't tell you that, right?
Mm.
But I can tell you is, although you have the right to feel that way, although I have to be fair and say I can't judge you for that.
Yeah.
right? But what I can say is, if we think the bigger picture, we can avoid those realities, right? Because the change that we have on now, it's mainly based in money. Everything goes back to money. Everything goes back to economics. And so if we can change our economic status and we can look into the future, then we will save ourselves. If not, we will contribute to our own demise.
Well, and I want to pose this: the goal here is not to change how you look economically, but how you live economically, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not about what you drive, what you wear.
Yeah.
We don't want to just look like we're winning. We want to win,
For sure.
right?
Yep.
And so often we have gotten caught up in, and we have to understand who we are as a people. We are a people. I mean, we like to look good. We got swag, right?
Oh yeah.
But at the same time, we have to do everything in modification.
Yeah.
And that's what sometimes gets us in trouble, is when we do things outside of modification, right? When we go over the top. I mean, it's nothing wrong when I sit down and I'm working with someone about a budget. I don't tell them to cut out Starbucks every day. I mean, but if you're going to do the Starbucks every day, then where are you going to cut? You know, you gotta make choices. It's about wants and needs and desires, right? I want to throw this out because TJ said we have the right, right? So let me ask you this. I'm gonna ask you two fellas this. Is there a difference between having a right to do something and a responsibility?
Having the right to do something and the responsibility to do something.
Yeah. When does your right? What's the dynamic of having the right to do something and a responsibility to either do it or not do it?
Well,
Yeah,
I think.
that's.
Go ahead, guy. I'll let you tell me first.
This is one of those questions where, for me, I would answer that and say it depends on the season that you're in, because I have the right to do a lot of things as a man, as a married man, but I have the responsibility as well to handle what I need to handle. So for me, I would answer that question and say, what season are you in? You know what I'm saying? In that person's specific life, because we have a lot of rights in this world.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have a lot of rights, but then as well, we have a lot of responsibilities. But if we don't handle those responsibilities, our life doesn't look like what we want it to look like.
That's good. That's
Absolutely.
good.
You know?
Just because we have the right to do it doesn't mean it's responsible to do it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
the same thing too. I heard you guys talking, and what you're really talking about is purpose. Now, I may have the privilege to do something, but does that fit into my purpose?
Right.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And I think it really boils down to also, I think that there's a little bit of a battle between the emotional mind and the conscious mind. Right. And so, yeah, you have the right to do it. Right. You could operate based on where your emotions lead you. Right.
Mm-hmm.
You have the real estate to move around and the real estate to operate. Right. But when we're looking at things consciously, when we're looking at things logically, I think the responsibility outweighs many times what we can do, right? Because we have to look at, okay, who's looking at us do this? Who is watching us, right? And we also have to look at what are we leaving behind, right? And I think like responsibility for me is not something. Well, I'll speak for us. So I can say this for Martin and I. This is not something that we run away from because we both, young. I'm 25. Martin, you 26.
27.
27, yeah, and we both made that choice to walk down the aisle before our 30s, despite guidance.
Right.
So you know, but I think that when you embrace the responsibility of the moment, you get blessed by the results of it, right? And to me, that sometimes is a conscious decision. And it boils down to exactly that, a decision.
Go ahead, break that down real quick. I want you to touch on that, bro. Like the moment,
I mean,
like seizing the moment, bro. Go back to that.
okay. So,
Yeah.
well, I think that everything we do boils down to the decisions that we make,
Mm-hmm.
right? We can make a number of decisions throughout the day, right? Throughout a week, throughout a month, a year,
Yeah.
right? And ultimately, the decisions that we make are going to produce our reality.
Mm-hmm.
What we decide to make that decision based on, it could be emotions, it could be circumstance, context, it could be logic, it could be a number of things, right? But based on our decisions is exactly where we'll find ourselves at the end of it, right? If we make bad decisions, we're going to end up in a place that we probably didn't imagine or didn't expect to be, or maybe we don't like the result. But the decisions you make today will paint the picture of your tomorrow. And that's why, for me personally, I'm ruthlessly intentional. I'm ruthlessly intentional. I literally will not associate myself with you if you don't have nothing going on in your life. I promise you I won't. I promise you. People that I grew up with, some people probably got a problem with it. I don't care. I can't talk to you if all we have in common is the past. If all we have to talk about is what we used to do, why are we talking? I don't have no reason. I'm not saying I'm gonna block your number, but don't expect me. I'm not calling you every day so we can talk about what we did when we were kids. So we could talk about what we did when we was in middle school. Why are we still talking about what happened yesterday? Why can't we get into the future? And if our futures aren't heading in the same direction, if we don't have like mindset, there's no point in me talking to you, right? And I think when people get to that point where they make a decision that everything they do is going to reflect where they want to go and what they want to see their family in a couple years, where they want to see their family in a decade, in a generation, the generation after that. Once everything we do and all the decisions that we make, all the sacrifices that we make reflects where we want to be, instead of being tied to the past, instead of being tied to back in the day, what's his name was bullying me and you stepped in and I owe you no, I don't owe you for the rest of my life. No, we don't have nothing in common now. I love you and I'm gonna love you from a distance, right? And not being afraid to embrace new relationships, new connections, new ideas, new information, new podcasts, new shows like this, right? We get so stuck in what we used to do that we can't even embrace our future, and we end up being in sinking sand. We stuck in the same spot because we too busy looking back instead of trying to move forward. So we have to make a decision, and the decisions that you make will ultimately produce your reality. And I promise you, if you're not making the right decisions, you can't keep up with me. You can't keep up. Like, I'm going to outpace you.
Yeah.
You cannot. You don't live it. You don't breathe it. You can't beat me, right? Based on your decisions. And I'm not just talking about, who you hanging out with. I'm not talking about, do you go to the club or not. I'm talking about things like, bro, I wake up in the morning and work out. Studies show working out increases your mental focus. You so stuck on trying to have meetings, you can't even go get on the elliptical. And that's why I said, like, this is redefining entrepreneurship, because you thought it was all about sitting on the computer. You thought it was all about making your music on SoundCloud, and you didn't realize you're not working out, you're not drinking water, your relationships suck. Like, all of these things are working against you, and it's literally because you didn't decide to change it, right? People, how did you, why did you decide to do Howard? How did you get into Howard? How did you get into the program? How did you get this fellowship? How did you get this internship? How did you do this? How did you do that? Because I felt like it. And because I decided that that's what I'm going to do, right? And nobody's going to get in my way, because once I make that decision, and everything in my life, every area of my life reflects the decision that I made, there is no stopping it.
Yeah. That man. There you go.
I gotta keep it
What you got to say, Martin? What you got to
I
say
gotta
on
keep
this,
it
man? What
100,
you got to
Martin.
say on this? Because the old man got a few words here, man. What you got to say here, Martin?
It's gonna be
Come
hard
on,
to
bro.
follow that one up, but I wanted you, Tony, to touch on that, man, because I don't think people realize, like, when you give up, you're committing abortion on the life that you could have lived. And I think realizing, that's why I always go back to realizing where you're headed in life, because if you don't realize where you're going, you're actually committing abortion on the life that's calling you. And the reason why you on this earth, you commit an abortion to that life. So that's what I'm saying. Like, before you get into, wanting money and these things, you have to realize, like, yo, like, stemming back to what I just stemmed on, like where are you going? So I think when we realize, when we give up on things, when we give up on our dreams, when we give up on the reason why we're on this earth, what God has placed inside of you, you have to realize that you're aborting the life that you're supposed to be living. So like my good brother Tony said, redefining entrepreneurship, y'all probably thought we are going to say, hey, these are 7 keys to success to start a business, sign up for this company, get this or get that. But I think it really boils down to just having faith.
And you just hit something, Martin, and it made me realize there are some of you that are pregnant with purpose and you're overdue. You're past due. You pregnant with purpose and you past due. That baby been in your stomach. I'm not just talking about women. I'm talking about men too, right? That idea's been in your belly for years. That opportunity has been waiting for you. What you want wants you just as bad as you want it. But you so hesitant to face it head on that now you are pregnant with purpose, pregnant with possibility, and you have not given birth yet. Not because what you're developing isn't ready, but because your mindset hasn't matched the maturity of what God has already been growing inside of you.
No, a big part of it is this. When you talk about being pregnant with purpose, I go back to hearing a sermon by one of my good friends, Pastor Corey, and he preached that night about being pregnant with purpose. And some of us, the reason why we're still pregnant with purpose is because we're not gotten to the point where we're ready to push. And so that baby doesn't come out without pushing. Now, it's funny, here 3 fellas is in here and we talking about having a baby. We don't know nothing about it. The reality is we talking about something that we have nothing, that we don't know anything about, haven't experienced at all. But you got to be ready to push. And here's this is how I like to say it, is that so often, and I believe that many times, God is waiting for our actions to catch up with our anointing. So you've been anointed to do something in your life. You've been anointed to accomplish something. You've been anointed to set the captives free. You've been anointed to create generational wealth. You've been anointed to create jobs. You've been anointed to create apps, and you've been anointed to all these things, not because of the money. The money is really a side effect to what your purpose is, right? So what is your purpose for? If your purpose is simply money, then you won't stay. Money can't motivate you forever. Money can't motivate you ever, because there's only so much stuff you can buy, right? And then oftentimes we buy things that depreciate in value. They don't mean anything anyway. And so if you chase excellence, then money will chase you. And so what God is waiting for, he's waiting for our actions to catch up with the anointed. And our anointing, I've said I'm anointed to do this, but if my actions are opposite to that anointing, then all I'm doing is really causing friction and making it more difficult for myself. But if the things I do, the choices I make, the actions I take, if they are in alignment with that anointing that God has placed inside of me, that anointing that I feel that he's given me to do the things that he's given me to do, the downloads that came from God. If my actions are in alignment with him, then it's like being on an accelerator.
Mm.
But if I'm doing something that's opposite of that, it's like pushing on the brakes. We're fighting against ourselves. But when we can get our and where does it start? It starts in the mind, right?
Yeah.
It starts with a
100%.
mindset.
Yeah.
And until the mind is right, and Dr. Kimbrough said this, Dr. Kimbrough said this at my book book launch. He said that the wallet can't get right until the mind gets right.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where we're at. We're it's about mindset. And I love the twist that you guys had tonight, where you're talking about redefining entrepreneurship. it because there's all kinds of how-to books.
Right.
There's an array of books on how to market, email, and all these types of things. But if you're not doing the things that you guys are talking about tonight, then I remember this so well. Julian Earls, he was a vice president at NASA when I was a college student. And I remember he said this. He said that an education with no common sense is like a jackass with books on its back. and I remember that. I remember that. And so you can get all the knowledge you want, but until you get your mindset right, then you're just, my mama used to call it, you're an educated fool. Right? So very deep conversation. Very deep conversation. And listen, we got like 5 minutes left.
I want to bring it. I want to bring it home. Okay, let's bring it home.
I want y'all to bring it home.
Okay.
Dante's gonna take me off screen, leave y'all two on the screen, and I'm gonna put a timekeeper on y'all fellas.
I'm about to say,
okay.
So I'm gonna let y'all bring it on home.
You don't have to. You don't have to. well, okay. Let's lead the people with just something practical.
Okay.
Right. Something that's linear. People can understand. People can say, this is step 1. This is step 2. These are steps on my path to entrepreneurship. And I'm gonna mention 2 things. I'll give you the hands up, Martin, for you to mention a thing or 2. But I'll start off just by mentioning 2 things that you can do right now, right, to start your journey in entrepreneurship, to start your journey in ownership.
Yeah.
Something that doesn't cost a lot. It doesn't cost anything really, except time, effort. The first thing you can do is be a good steward over what you have right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that again because you thought I was gonna say something else. You thought I was gonna say something different. Be a good steward on what you have right now. You so stuck on saying you want to buy the house of your dreams. You want to get into real estate, and look at your apartment. Your apartment nasty. You don't clean up. You don't make up your bed. You are a terrible steward over what you have right now. But for some reason, you think that God is going to decide to bless you, even though you disrespecting what He gave you already. Your step right now is just being a good steward. Manage your money. You want more money? Manage your money. Right? You can't even save money right now. You can't even manage your money right now. You can't even budget your money right now. You want God to give you $1 million. Why in the world would God give you $1 million? You can't even budget $1,000. You can't even budget $10,000. Why on earth would God give you more if you haven't proven that you can handle where you're at right now? Right? I've stayed with Martin's family.
Yeah.
Ask me how many times they had to ask me to take out the trash, cut the grass.
Yeah.
I'll be out there cutting the grass. As soon as I see grass get long, okay, let me go ahead and get out here and cut the. Why? I'm being a good steward. They own this house, and if I'm a good steward over just a simple blessing, then it's going to multiply. It's gonna manifest in my own life.
Yeah.
Take care of where you are so you can get where you're going. That's one, stewardship. Begin your journey of stewardship right now. 2, partnership. Right? Partnership. You need to figure out who to connect with. Right? Yes, so I'm getting married in August. Martin just got married. That's a decision that we made.
Mm-hmm.
That's a decision that we made to have a partner. And there's favor in that decision in having a life partner. Yeah. But not just marriage, not just intimate partners, but friends. Right? Find you a friend. Like, I don't know why you think you're so special. I don't know why you think you're so creative and so excellent that you don't need nobody else. That's your problem. You are so proprietary. You're the only person operating your business. That's your problem right now. You cannot scale with one person. It's just you. Right? Jesus had 12 disciples. What makes you think you just so cute and so special that you don't have to have nobody? Jesus had 12 disciples.
Talk to him.
So those are my 2 things right now. Embrace your journey in stewardship and develop partnerships. It don't cost nothing. Those are 2 things you can do right now. And I'm gonna pass it to my boy Marty Mark.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So look, I'm gonna take it from 2 different aspects because I know we live in the social media world and a lot of people on there trying to get likes and comments, but not trying to get money, right? So I'll take it from this aspect. From the social media aspect of anybody in the world can do this. This one thing. Build your brand.
Mm-hmm.
Build your brand. So what that looks like from social media in real life, from social media, what that looks like is posting, let's say, give an example. Let's say you want to start, I'll use my mom, for example. She just started and launched her essential oils business, right? Building her brand. She's not big on social media, hasn't been big on social media, but what does she do? How does she build her brand? She posts pics of her and my dad at date night, enjoying life, right? She took photo shoots of 100+ pictures and post those. We live in a generation now that people want to get access. So if you're in a situation where you're like, I have no money, like I need to make some money, but I don't know what to do. One thing that you can start doing is building your brand. Building your brand. Dress up nice. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Do something good for yourself. You feel me? 100%.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
but
sir.
I wanted to take it from that aspect because my mom is, 50+ years old, going on 25, right? You know what I'm saying? But
Mama Jones.
She's one of those things where she ain't want to get on social media, but she got on there because what she wanted to do, she wanted to make money. She wanted to build her business. She wanted to get exposure. So I wanted to just use her as a spotlight to let anybody on this call know, on this live know, you can do it. Like you can.
It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter any of that. You can make a decision to do it. And I'll provide this as a case study.
Yeah.
And I'll let you all do your own research because I know we passed time. But look up Slutty Vegan.
Oh yeah.
Look up Slutty Vegan. It's a vegan restaurant. It's huge, has a huge following, and part of her recipe for success is sharing her journey and people being attached to her journey.
Yeah.
Right. And so don't be afraid to share your journey along the way. And that kind of goes into what Martin said about build your own brand. So, Dad, any final words?
Well, listen, I mean, branding is huge, and that's what Slutty Vegan did, and that's why her business is worth multi-million dollars today in only a few short years. And so, definitely branding is huge. And what does your brand stand for? And if is it recognizable? Does it say who you are? Those type of things, because we can have a brand that's not conducive to where we want to go. I mean, it can go the other way. And so I do think that's important. I've enjoyed the conversation between you two knuckleheads tonight. But we're just, I know as parents, we're awfully proud of your mindset and where you are and where you're going. And if you continue to have the attitude that you have and you continue to put the work, it's not that life won't have its hurdles, right? It won't have its challenges. It will, but you'll get through them. You'll get through them, and you'll get to the goals that you want to achieve. And so, like I said, it was a rich conversation. I know we could go on and on actually tonight. But I love what you guys did. I loved how you framed it up. Redefining entrepreneurship. And here's the facts, folks. You could be sitting, you can have a 9-to-5 job and be an entrepreneur, right? You can approach that job from an entrepreneurship mindset. And one of the things is that I just believe no one is going to out hustle me, no one's going to outwork me, because I get through all my obstacles because I outthink them, I outwork them, I out hustle them. And I pray, right? And you cannot underestimate the power of prayer. And when you think about that, when you put your prayer life and your purpose together, man, you powerful beyond measure.
It's dangerous.
Powerful beyond measure. And so, I just can't wait to see what God does with your careers and your businesses, especially TJ, because I'm gonna be living off the fruits of that. Listen,
I got you.
I'm the old man gonna be expecting some barbecue and some of this and some of that.
I got you on the barbecue.
Yeah,
don't go to work for the barbecue. We're not getting that.
Have a cook-off.
Yeah. Here's the thing too, and what's so important about what you guys are doing in your generation is that you have another generation that you're raising.
Mm-hmm.
And what's so important for us isn't because grandparents, we love our grandkids, right? We love our grandkids. I mean, the truth is, the Bible says a wise man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. That means you skip one generation, go to the grandkids, so y'all on your own, everything going to them, right? but it's important because what we're talking about is changing. We're talking about changing legacy, right? Not just for here and now, but for the next generation and the next generation and the next generation.
Yeah.
And if each generation could take it up another level, right? If we can level up, every generation level up, then we will soon be right where we rightfully should be. Definitely. So, man, I appreciate you, Martin.
I appreciate you
being on the show, man. I can't wait to see you in August. Yeah. And everything. And so, man, it's been a great show. I appreciate you guys. So with that, man, we're gonna have Dante take us on home. And you've been watching another episode of The Real Money Coach. And we'll see you next week right here, same place, same channel. All right. Have a good night, everybody.